Hey, sister. I'm so glad you're here. You know, we live in a world where leadership is often defined by what you project and not what you process. But God is calling for something deeper. He's raising up women who lead with truth, not just titles, because it's not your highlight reel that changes lives. It's your healed story, your real story, the one that makes someone else feel seen. Today, I want to talk about the power of vulnerable leadership and how that very part of your story you've been hiding may be the key to someone else's breakthrough. And I'll be honest, there was a time when I only showed people the polished version of me, the degrees, the leadership awards, the military stripes, the boardroom presence, right? But I didn't talk about the fear or the shame or the anxiety. The days I sat in my car and cried from exhaustion because I was hiding the truth from everyone and myself. I was an imposter. What you saw was not real. What you saw was not the real Shanell. And behind it all was a deeper pain I never talked about publicly. I'm a survivor of military sexual trauma. And for years, I carried the shame of what was done to me. I buried it beneath performance, perfectionism, achievements, trying to outrun the memory, the silence, and the self-blame. See, I thought if I could succeed enough, I would quiet the part of me that still felt unsafe and unseen. But shame doesn't disappear through success. It just hides deeper until you're brave enough to face it. And it wasn't until I surrendered it to God and allowed Him to heal it that I finally understood people don't connect with your perfection, they connect with your process. And the first time I shared my story, a woman came up to me in tears and said, I never told anyone either. I'm a survivor of MST also. And that's when I knew my story wasn't just mine. It was seed. It was healing. It was legacy. 2 Corinthians 12:9 says, my grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness. God doesn't need you to be impressive. He just needs you to be honest. Because truth sets people free, and it starts with the leader. Let's break it down like this. Why vulnerable leadership matters. It builds trust, it creates safety, and it empowers others to bring their full selves to the table. But here's the key. Vulnerability must be healed, not bleeding. We don't dump pain. We share redemption. Vulnerability says, I've been there, I get it, and look what God did. And if you know God is calling you to lead more openly with authenticity and healing power, then I want you to download my free guide. It's 5 ways to lead with vulnerability and power. And inside this free resource, you'll get reflection questions to uncover the story God wants to use, boundaries for healthy spirit-led vulnerability, biblical truths that show how God uses imperfect leaders for powerful impact, and leadership declarations you can pray and speak over your life this week. Click on the link below and get your copy, because the world doesn't need another perfect leader. It needs a whole one. Your story is not a liability. It's your legacy. And you don't have to hide to lead. You get to lead as a healed, honest, bold woman God has called for such a time like this. Drop a purple heart in the comments if you're ready to heal, to start leading with truth, not just titles. And don't forget to download your free guide below. Let's rise as rooted women with stories that shake chains. And sis, I'm so glad you're here.